Hi students, in this video I'm going to go over direct variation. Just to review what we did in class, the direct variation is a relationship that is created with the constant ratio, and that ratio is created by y divided by x. It's a little fraction that is created by y divided by x. So it's between two variables, y and x. The constant of variation is going to be known as the letter k, and you're going to see it in the direct variation equation when it's written y equals kx. Y equals kx is very similar to y equals mx plus b. The only difference is that this b value, it's not here. So if there's no b value, that means that there's no y-intercept other than 0, 0. So just 0, 0. This is also showing that the k is replacing the value of m, so the slope. So sometimes they are a little related. Let's go over several examples so you can see how we use this topic of direct variation. First, we have points or tables given to us so we can practice finding the constant. The constant is found when you have a y divided by x. Here we have 1, 4. So if we write it in this ratio, it will look like 4 over 1. 4 over 1 results in the number 4. Then we have this example right here, 2 and 8. That will be 8 divided by 2. 8 divided by 2 also results in 4. The next point is 12 divided by 3, and that also results in 4. So all of these 4 points follow that pattern of y over x equals 4, which means that we can rewrite this as y equals 4x, because that's your k. Your constant is the 4 that they all have in common. All right, let's try another one. Number 2. As you notice, we don't need all the points. We just need at least one. Just pick a point. Here, let's do that one. X, y. We need to write it as y over x, so that means we're going to do 3 divided by negative 6. That results in negative 1/2. That is your k. So you're going to now write the equation y equals negative 1/2 x, and that's your direct variation equation for this data. Same thing with points in the table. You just need one pair of x and y values and write your y over x ratio and carefully write the numbers where they go. So the y is the negative 8 and the negative 12 is the x. So when we divide negative 8 divided by negative 12, we're going to get, let's see, simplify. We're going to get 2/3. So that means the equation is 2/3 x. All right, let's move on to the equation part of this paper. This section was asking you to identify if the equations are direct variation or not. One advice I mentioned to you is to write y equals kx under all of them, just to verify if they follow that pattern. So as we did these in class, you were really good at this. You right away noticed that, for example, this one follows it, so this 3 is the k. This also follows the pattern, so that k is negative 4/5. This one, though, did not have the x. So when there's no x, this is not a direct variation. This one, we can't say yes or no yet until this 2y becomes a y by itself. So anytime you have a number next to the y, you're going to divide, because that's a coefficient right there. So we're going to divide by 2, and this results in y equals 5 over 2x. So yes, that will also work, and your k is 5 over 2. This one right here, y equals kx, it was a little bit tricky for some of you, but this one up here follows y equals mx plus b. This negative 4 is a b value. We don't want that. So no, this is not direct variation. This one confused a couple of you as well, because there's nothing in front of the x, but anytime there's no number in front of the x, there's a 1. So this is following this pattern, and k is -1. All right, so now let's look at this bottom one. The bottom ones were a little bit more difficult since they were also not in y equals. If we write y equals kx, this 2 shouldn't be there. So once again, we're going to divide by 2, divide by 2. And if you have the x by itself, that's a 1 divided by 2. So k equals 1/2, and this is a direct variation. For this one, I showed you the video of the catchy phrase of add or subtract the x term. So the x terms that are there need to be moved to the other side so we can make this y by itself. So we're going to subtract 4x on this side and put it on the other side. Then we have 2y equals, if we rewrite this in mx plus b, it's going to look like -4x plus 6. And then we divide by 2, y equals -2x plus 3. So this, if we put a y equals kx, this is not going to follow it either because of that b. So no. And this one, if we move it to the other side, we subtract 5x, and we end up with y equals -5x. This 0 is nothing. So if we put plus 0, it's still like putting nothing. So y equals kx. Yes, this is true. Also, the b value is 0. That means that in the x-axis is crossing at the origin, x and y-axis. So this is a yes, and the k is -5. All right, next it was looking at the graphs. And in this graphs, this is where I mentioned about the y equals mx plus b, m representing almost similar to k, and there's no b. So because there's no b, we can say that the y-intercept is the origin. So this one has it, this one does not, this one yes, and this one yes. So right away you can tell the number 15 is not a direct variation because it's not touching the origin. These others do, so let's just find the constant of variation. So as mentioned before, the constant is just y over x. We just need to find a point from the line, like this one right here. That will be x value of 2, and 3 value, the value of 3 for the y. X, y. So if we write it in this format, we're going to have 3 over 2. That's your constant. So the equation is y equals 3/2 x. Next, we have this point right here. This point is x value of 4, y value of -1. So this is your x, this is your y. The constant is created by y divided by x, which equals -1 divided by 4. So your constant is -1 divided by 4. The equation is y equals -1/4 x. All right, by the next one, I think you already get or know what to do. So let's just skip to this last part to make the video short. This is whenever you have a missing value, you use the direct variation relationship that you discovered. So if they're telling you that you have a direct variation, you look for that x and y value that they're giving you to find the constant. The constant, once again, is y divided by x. Here we're going to write -4 divided by 2. -4 divided by 2 is -2. So our constant is -2. Therefore, the equation is y equals -2x. With this equation, we can now find this missing value. We can either graph it in the calculator. So you can just go to graphing and type the equation we created, -2x. Press enter, and this is your line. And then we can go to table, Control T, and find out when x is -6, what is our y value. So before we do that, let's also show you algebraically. If you have a y value missing, you're just going to write y. We're not going to have a value for y. Then you're going to write -2 And then for x, you're going to write the x that you're given. So negative 6. This results in saying that y is equal to negative 2 times negative 6. If you multiply negative 2 times negative 6, you will get positive 12. So this is saying that you will have a 12 for the y value for that. Let's check on the table. So we go up to where there's negative 6, you have that 12 as your y. So algebraically works and graphically as well. Let's try one more example here. This point is given to you, that's your x and y. K equals y over x. We have 16 divided by 4, that equals 4. So that leads to the equation y equals 4x. And then now we're going to look at what it's asking. It's asking for the x. So we don't know the x, but we know the y. So we're going to have 24 equals 4x. So to solve for x, we need to get rid of the 4, coefficient of 4, so we divide by 4, and x equals 6. So if we were to graph this equation, y equals 4x, let me clear this. Then we will have to go to the table and double check that when x is 6, our y is 24. So that is correct. Not only do we always get whole numbers, we sometimes have fractions. So look at this one. If you do k equals y over x here, this one is missing a value, this one is given. So we're going to have y of 7 over the x value of 4. This results in just 7 over 4. So y equals 7 over 4x. That's your equation. Here we're saying that x is 12 and the y we don't know. So now this is saying 7/4 times 12. So you're going to have 7/4 times 12. That's 21. So y equals 21. So yeah, it's just pretty much the same thing. Find the k. So like this one, find the k, y over x. You have y when x is that. So they're giving you the pair right there. So negative 18 divided by 3 equals negative 6. So your equation is y equals negative 6x. And it says find x when y is 30. So we know y is 30. We don't know x. So we just bring everything down. Solve for x. So we divide by the coefficient of x, negative 6, and x equals negative 5. All right, on the next part, we're going to have word problems. Hopefully this video helps you.